What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to tell you guys why all the islands in Jurassic Park were basically doomed from the beginning. In Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we see the end of Isla Nublar. In the movie, we hear that the island contains the last remaining dinosaurs. Even though in Camp Cretaceous, we learn that there are still dinosaurs on Manticore Island, but it's kind of unclear just how public that is. But in this movie, we witness the eruption of Mount Sibo, the once dormant volcano that gave the island its energy. And we're also left wondering if there are any dinosaurs left on Isla Sorna. With the introduction of the new dinosaurs like the Spinosaurus, the Ankylosaurus, the Corynthosaurus, as well as a bunch of trafficking and poaching, and the dinosaurs being taken from Isla Sorna and brought over to Isla Nublar to be portrayed in Jurassic World, we don't really know what happened to that island, and we never actually find out. What if I told you that no matter what happened, no matter about the human interference, all of the islands were always doomed from the beginning? And to be honest with you, we can start with the Jurassic Park novel, which has probably the saddest ending of all time for the franchise and all of the expanded media, actually. Because in the novel, the plan was actually pretty simple: blow them up if things went wrong. The Lycian contingency was present in the novel, however, they find out it had failed within the novel, and in the end, jets carpet bombed the entire island and killed not only the dinosaurs that remained on the island, but everything else. So that island never even got a chance to get going, and it was planned from the beginning to destroy that island if anything went south. Then we can actually move on to the Lost World novel, where we find out the entire population of dinosaurs are doomed to go back into extinction due to the horrible DX virus that was actually introduced to the population by the human caretakers, who just didn't even know that you don't feed sheep to carnivores, even modern carnivores. Like, that's just not a thing you're supposed to do. But we don't really see this in the movies. The dinosaurs seem to kind of be flourishing no matter what instance you show them in. They'll just show them dinosaurs being dinosaurs, nature taking its course. But what if I told you this was not going to be the case even if humans did not intervene? Might have taken a matter of years, but the island's ends were definitely inevitable. Just looking at the island and modern day predatory-prey relationships, the islands just could not support the populations we see. And we can start here with Isla Nublar. Isla Nublar, kind of ironically, had probably the best chance of making it the longest. From the first incident, there was a small population of dinosaurs with a small population of predators. All of the raptors were killed during the events of the movie, leaving only the T-Rex, Dilophosaurus, and Compsognathus as the main predators, each one filling its own niche. Tyrannosaurus is at the top, Dilophosaurus is in the middle, Compsognathus is bringing up the bottom. However, the herbivores also had a small population as well, with the T-Rex making honestly significant dents in the original populations, and this would probably have eventually led to the death of Rexy, as it would have become increasingly harder for her to find food. And kind of assuming Rexy didn't kind of eat everything she could, they would have eventually found a good equilibrium. And like I said, even if she didn't die off, which I believe she probably would have, the Dilophosaurus population would have most likely just kind of started going up and down with the herbivores, just kind of based off the years as it went by. Now, the Compies, on the other hand, their population would have just exploded. They're scavengers, bottom of the food chain, they're really small, they would just kind of just filled that niche, and since they're so small, they could have just had a population boom. And they really don't pose that big of a threat to all of the healthy dinosaurs. It was mostly the sick and injured ones that they would have really kind of went after. So honestly, this island might have made it till the inevitable eruption of Mount Sibo. But what's more than likely going to have happened is a thing that I'm going to kind of touch on at the end of the second novel. So we're just going to leave this one here for now. This island definitely doomed natural disasters. But it was able to do this because there was a relatively tame predator to prey ratio. That's why it would have lasted the longest, with 4 different prey species totaling 25 individuals and only 2 really active predator species numbering 6 individuals. The predators realistically could not have eaten all of the prey, and the balance would eventually have been found. Isla Nublar was just small enough to where the predators could always find their prey, but it was just big enough to where the prey could always escape the predators. So it was a good balance that was kind of initially introduced into this island. Isla Sorna, though, is a different matter. Since this is where they were originally breeding the dinosaurs, the population started out much bigger, though the island was also much bigger than Isla Nublar, so the dinosaurs had a larger area to roam. This definitely helped the overall situation, but Sorna had a relatively large predator problem. Kinda quite literally, they had a lot of large predators. So of the original dinosaurs that were set free on the island, there were 5 predator species with a total of 86 individuals, with there being 9 prey species species and only a total of 103 individuals. So the predator-prey relationship is already just too close. And essentially, there were just too many mouths to feed in the beginning, with some of the smaller populations of herbivores even being wiped out extremely quickly. This in turn caused most of the predators to die off as well over time. I mean, we realistically only see the raptors and the tyrannosaurs as the main predators throughout those entire movies, right? But they bred baryonyx and things. Like, there were other smaller predators. They just didn't make it, really couldn't compete with the T-Rexes and the raptors. And essentially, they were just outcompeted by the better predators. But what this did is it kind of made it appear like there was a stable ecosystem that had formed. And this is basically what we saw during the second movie, but honestly, it was only possible because the island was so big. Enough of the prey managed to escape the predation to establish populations of themselves. However, this would kind of create the real problem, and that would be the herbivores breeding. Their population had straight up exploded by the time of the third movie, bringing the island essentially to its carrying capacity of animals. And this would most likely not have allowed the island's vegetation to recover fast enough throughout the years to continue supporting the dinosaurs themselves. And now this really wouldn't happen overnight. When I say a few years, I'm talking like decades, right? Like, probably, I would say within 50 years, but I could be completely wrong about that. But you also got to remember, there's only about an 8-year period between the first movie and the third movie. But even in that time, we see just this explosion of herbivores. So they basically brought the island to its carrying capacity really quickly. But like I said though, frankly, it was only a matter of time before this population just straight up collapsed. I also would like to remember here, in this scenario, humans don't come back. So all those dinosaurs from Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus, Corythosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Ceratosaurus, none of them are introduced to the island, and this still happens. But when they got introduced, they were the catalyst that caused this to happen. So it's just kind of a really good example of how delicate this ecosystem actually was. Another thing I'd like to say here, guys, is I did exclude the pteranodons from the active figures list. They were trapped on the birdcage basically the entire time, so they wouldn't have been contributing to all of the stuff that was going on. But to give you guys a quick rundown, there were 10 of them originally bred, and by the time of Jurassic Park 3, only 4 of them were still alive. Now, these 4 were breeding. However, the situation they were in was just too bad for it to actually like sustain even their small population until they were essentially set free. And once they were set free, they actually abandoned their nest because their situation was so bad that they didn't even see a point in raising those babies. But to finish things off, guys, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Manticore Island. All of the dinosaurs there are living in these artificial biomes, and we're never really shown what the rest of the island looks like. But since the biomes are all controlled by humans, it's likely the island couldn't have supported any population of real dinosaurs. It definitely couldn't have survived on their own in those environments. So that was pretty much Manticore Island. But that, guys, is the main reason why I think all of the islands were doomed from the beginning. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Did I miss something? Did I miss something that could change this whole theory? Do you guys have your own theories on what happened? What do you guys think happened to Isla Sorna? I would love to know the answer to all of these questions in the comments down below. And while you're down there, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me, as well as follow me on my other social medias, which are coming up next, and I will see you guys in the next video.